Hello, my Emmas. Welcome back to the show. Back to our mini series with Thousand Capital, or as I like to refer it to as T1 Capital. I'm joined by two gentlemen here, very young, very smart. And if you haven't seen the first show where we introduced what T1 Capital is, do go back, watch the show, understand what we're talking about. Because today we're focusing on the property segment or the property leg of T1 Capital. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Shareholders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Jabula Tele.
So can I refer to you as Njabula 1? I'm joking. I just have points.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
And then what's your role in T1 Capital?
So we primarily focus on the property division of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to refer it to as a company, even though it's an investment club, because that's how kind of like we conveyed ourselves.
Okay.
So the reason why property is one of the asset classes that we invest in is one of the asset classes that resonates with the people that we're trying to get into an investment club with.
So what I want to understand is what's your role in the property leg, basically? Do you search the properties? Do you vet them? What do you do?
Search, due diligence, run the numbers.
Yeah.
Spreadsheet guru.
So essentially I'm the numbers guy, I'm the spreadsheet guru.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of running various variables against the property model that we currently have. So it's actually
What's
quite
in
interesting.
your property model?
True, we can actually break that down quite extensively actually.
Okay.
So the main aim around the property segments is that we're going to be investing in low cost property mainly for students and for areas in and around underdeveloped areas, in rural areas. And that's pretty much what's driving it. So I'm essentially in charge of running the numbers and making sure that we get our numbers right, the accuracy around the numbers, to make sure that we give the best possible return to our investors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because I'm struggling to understand that you're running the numbers and there's a model and you're looking for something low cost, and student housing is not low cost. So
Okay,
are you looking at
fair
student housing in rural areas? Like, I'm very confused.
Okay.
To be honest.
So as you know, in South Africa, there's as far as student accommodation is concerned, there's universities that are situated in the townships, and that's where we target those the most. Where we can find like a low cost house where you can put like bedrooms behind.
Okay,
and then you can
okay,
put
okay,
students
okay,
there
okay.
and like make sure that it's like student friendly and comply with like the student accommodation regulations and stuff.
And are you guys finding properties that are already there, or are you using the capital that you get from the company to build some? So how does it look
It's a
like?
combination of both.
Okay.
So it's one of two things can happen.
Yeah.
So you can find a rundown property, which is to say a property that is not in good shape, and then you refurbish it to fit the students, or you find a property that's fit and ready, that like tick all the boxes for student accommodation, and then
Primarily student accommodation. If it's just like back rooms, and people just want to live there because they work somewhere.
there's that part as well,
Okay.
where we focus on townships that are in and around industrial areas.
Okay.
An example of that is actually where I come from in Springs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like industrial area around that.
Yeah.
So houses in those areas, we focus on the people that are working in those industrial areas.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, you find either a rundown property where you buy and refurbish it, or you find a property that's that's livable, where you're ready to move in and live, or you find you find land where you buy the land and then you build.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you're running your models, what is that criteria that you're looking for? Okay, if it's run down, it needs to fit these three things, for instance. How
Yeah,
does
so
that look like?
that's actually a really cool question to ask. So we look at a myriad of things actually before we actually invest into a specific property. People will tell you about location. Location is critically important. In terms of where we want to invest. We talk about costs, and obviously we want to put our people in properties that are good and safe. Essentially, we don't want to buy a property that's cheap just for the sake of buying it because it's cheap. We're very big on quality, so that's critically important to us as well. And obviously we do as well look at the cost benefit, because essentially one of the things that we can control is the price that we actually enter into. So that's critically important for us. And given that we have a 10-year span in thousands, costs and the level of maintenance that we'll have to
because I wanted to get into
incorporate
that. Like, do you guys then play a property management role afterwards? Are you the agent? What are you afterwards?
I'll let Jabula take that.
Okay.
So there are instances where we're going to be running up the said properties ourselves. There are instances where we're going to get like a proper alerting agent.
Okay.
That's going to be
handling
the letting. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's now bring it back. So you sort of explained what the leg does, but now I'm coming in as a T1 investor or I don't know, contributor, and I'm putting in my thousands and whatever, right? Like, how much of my 1,000 rand specifically is going to property, or can I pick that I only wanted to go into property? I don't care about SMEs, I don't care about anything else, I only want property.
Oh, okay.
Is there such a thing?
No, so when you joining our investment club, or you investing, like becoming a shareholder in T1C Capital, what you're doing, you're buying into T1C.
Okay.
And then your money will be dispensed across the 3 legs that exist within T1C.
Okay.
So of your...
Is it a 33.3333?
No.
Split, or what is
like we mentioned on the previous episode. So the biggest, like what we want to do is to make a difference, right? And one of the big ways you can make a difference is in investing like small businesses. Okay. So that's where the big portion of the money goes to. Cool. So that's the 50%.
Okay.
And then we also invest in listed equities.
That's the 25.
That's 30%.
Okay.
And then we channel 20% into property.
Okay.
So if you're putting 1,200 rand is going into property.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, anybody can answer this one, but I think you, because you're the numbers guy.
Let's see if I can.
Do I get any dividends at the end of the month for that property that I've now built and it's up and running, and there's people that are living in there, and now I'm assuming you're getting money from rentals, or I don't know how it's working.
Definitely, yeah.
Am I getting 2 rand?
It's actually a brilliant question, and it actually fits into the whole model behind T1C Capital. So essentially, we're not planning to distribute any dividends throughout the full 10 years. So
what?
Exactly, yeah. I know, that's the reaction that we are expecting from a lot of people. But then it goes back to what we actually said in the first video, that we need people who are already financially stable, so who do not need to rely on the dividends that we're going to be reinvesting back into the company. So think of it as a Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company. They don't distribute dividends at all. So essentially what they do is that they basically reinvest into the company, and one of the main things that they leverage off of is compounding. And
like what, like a feeder fund situation?
In a way, not necessarily.
Okay.
If I can put it that way. But then, what generally happens is that all the rentals that we'll be collecting will be used to basically expand the business, to buy more property, to improve the situations that we currently have. So it's basically a self-funding model, if I can put it that way, and it's leveraging mostly off compounding. There won't be any dividends for the first 10 years, and we believe that with that model we can essentially build an incredible monster that can actually just go off and just change the face of property in the country.
Just to add on the compounding effect part of it.
Yeah.
So think of it this way: if you let's say if you buy into a company, and that company pays you a 10% dividend, which is to say 10% rental income, right? And if you take that 10% and you put it back, the next time you're getting a rental income, you're getting more.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which means over the long term, you're gonna, in like abstract or in theory, you're gonna have new 1,000 members which don't exist in human nature, which is the rental income that we collect. Because the rental
and
income.
where's that money going?
Back into the business, yes.
How sure are we?
Pardon?
How sure are we that it's going back? Like, you're not paying yourselves?
No, like we said as well, we're governed by a shareholders agreement.
Yeah.
And the shareholders agreement is quite extensive. And essentially, like we said, we're also shareholders in this. We're equal shareholders, just like anyone else. It's an investment club. And you can definitely be sure that whatever money is generated from the property will be used to expand the property portfolio.
Yeah, like they mentioned earlier, Chief Executive, we all equal members. Or like we're not like
CEO gets 50%.
No.
Okay,
we're all equals, and if there's someone that joins in and has experience and expertise in investing in property, they're more than welcome to add value into that property section of the investment club.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if I've left any sort of questions out that you guys want to clear out with our IMers before we close off.
Yeah, I think,
or if there's something you want to add.
A very important question is that, I mean, we're going on for 10 years, you know, and at the end of the 10 years, we will have a bunch of property, you know. I think one of the questions that we could swing to Jabs is that what happens after 10 years? What happens to the property? Do we sell them? Do we liquidate them? So, want to take that?
So it's one of two things. So we either sell the property division of the business to another property company, or we find a property company, property management company that will manage that portion of, and then we just oversee that.
Okay.
Or a property management company can be established that's going to manage that, and we just oversee that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Okay, because I don't know, I already have a problem. I'm only seeing money after 10 years.
That's why it's very important that everybody that invests
is
into
financially fine.
Is financially literate and has a long-term view, because one of the fundamental
but there's levels to this financial literacy thing. Like I'm in IT, like how financially literate am I? Whereas somebody in the finance is
so
like
someone that has an RA and tax-free is
and an emergency fund.
And emergency fund. So that
yeah.
person is financially literate and has a long-term view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so the fundamental principle of investment club is being in a club where everybody has a similar or the same goal.
Long-term view that you guys have.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you so much for joining me. As you heard it yourself, if you are willing to wait 10 years, then go forth.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah.